Well. Let's get. This is an actual fucking remote. You can actually fucking play the game. I do want to grab ship stuff. I might do Rich Explorer. I think it's gonna go. Nothing else I want. Day 2 of Ozempic. Pretty fucking good. Feel sick there all the time. How much longer do we have in this? 6 hours. 7 hours. We're gonna watch. Oh, fuck it.
Simple as.
Watch stuff. Now we're debating people in the YouTube comments, but haven't responded.
We need to talk Rob Reiner updates and continued Trump fallout around. So, starting with updates around the case itself, we've now gotten reports that Rob and his Michelle, they got into a very loud argument with their son Nick at a party at Conan O'Brien's home before leaving Saturday night. And of course, when their bodies were found the next morning,
fleshing this out is going to be so grim.
Nick was the prime suspect, hence why he's now reportedly in jail on murder without bail, and seen photos of the moment that he was arrested. And so reportedly he was at a subway station 15 miles from his house. You could see cops shoving him to the ground, handcuffing him. You had hotel staff reportedly finding blood all over the shower of his room, a trail of blood leading to the bed, and bed sheets covering the window. And so police, they said they sent the case to the LA attorney, and prosecutors are expected to file charges by the end of Wednesday. But then all of that, it brings us to continued reactions. And where we'll start here is a quick refresher of Trump's post, right? Because he started his post almost seeming like a regular person before again revealing, hey, it's me. I'm a deranged monster. Then posting a very sad thing happened last night in Hollywood. Rob Reiner, a tortured and struggling.
Is this the one we've seen already?
Once very talented movie director and comedy star.
15. Is old.
Has passed away together with his wife, Michelle, reportedly due to the anger he caused others through his massive, unhealing, and incurable affliction with a mind-crippling disease known as Trump derangement syndrome, sometimes referred to as TDS. He was known to have driven people crazy by his raging obsession of President Donald J. Trump, with his obvious paranoia reaching new heights. Trump administration surpassed all goals and expectations of greatness, and with the golden age of America upon us, perhaps like never before. May Rob and Michelle rest in peace. And in case anyone had any doubts if that was official, the White House's rapid response account on X also reposted. Right? And then later on, when a reporter was like, hey, President, surely you didn't really mean it like that, we saw this.
You stand by that post? Well, I wasn't a fan of it at all. He was a deranged person as far as Trump is concerned. He said he knew it was false. In fact, it's the exact opposite. I was a friend of Russia, controlled by Russia. Russia, one of the people.
You are.
I think he hurt himself in career.
You're in your campaign. Like, you have a bullet. There were people charged with contacting Russian agents, and bot farms, driving pro Trump talking points on social media.
Was like a deranged person, Trump derangement syndrome. So I was not a fan of Rob.
Oh, I love saying that
at all, in any way, shape, or form. I thought he was very bad for our country.
And that, it was jarring, not only because he called this tragically murdered, beloved filmmaker deranged for having different politics than him, but also because he referred to himself in the third person as Trump.
He was a deranged person as far as Trump is concerned.
Which I guess, to stick with Trump's theme here, let me say, Philip DeFranco thinks that Donald Trump is a disgusting fucking monster. Like, many already feel that, know that, but to see him handle a softball situation, like, be like, wow, that was fucking
and this time,
stop saying he isn't. No, and that he did his Trump thing. And so while, you expected the universal outrage and disgust from the entire left wing of the political spectrum.
It's so hateful and vile. When I first saw it, I thought it was fake. My wife showed it to me this morning. I was like, Well, even for him, that seemed like too much, but nothing is ever too much for him.
You then also had people to the right of them chiming in. Agree with the likes of
MTG's gonna lose his mind.
Morgan sounding
summer.
off.
That just crosses every line of just basic human decency.
But also, the most surprising reactions came from the MAGA right, where nearly all the big names with anything to say about this, expressing some form of discomfort or disgust. And I
Trump will never back down. This is a double down for sure.
say nearly because, some took a different tack, which we'll get into. You had the talking heads on Fox News seemingly pretty much unanimous with Trump's post.
I have to say that for the President of the United States to take
He might have already doubled down, actually.
this family tragedy in which both Reiner and his wife were killed and say that it's because of Trump derangement syndrome, I thought was well beneath him and beneath the office. And I think it would have been better if the president had made no comment.
You also had several Republican lawmakers chiming in, including, as we saw yesterday, Marjorie Taylor Greene, but also Mike Lawler, Stephanie Weiss, John Kennedy.
I think when the president says these sorts of things, it detracts from his policy achievements.
But still, it was crickets for most of the GOP, with Senator Thomas Massey even commenting, I guess my elected GOP colleagues, VP, and White House staff will just ignore it because they're afraid. In response to that, the GOP leadership was basically like,
so much.
yeah. Senate Majority Leader John Thune declining to comment on Trump's post when asked about it by reporters, and House Speaker Mike Johnson essentially saying it's not worth his time.
I don't do ongoing commentary about everything that's said by everybody in government every day.
We are the president of the United States.
Trying to bring down healthcare costs for the American people.
Which, embarrassing on its own, but I mean, even fucking Nick Fuentes had enough of a spine to criticize Trump for this.
This is ugly rhetoric.
Boom,
It
boom,
is ugly.
boom.
It is
Let me
actually
see.
evil.
Say
Nobody
yo.
deserves that. I don't care what their politics are, what they said
Mayo.
on the internet or on television. Now, if Trump were actually doing what he
Jesus.
promised to do, you could overlook the fact that he's a douchebag. Well, what's actually the pitch now? You go on True Social and make a joke about Trump derangement syndrome? It just goes to show there was never anything there. There was never a center. It was always empty. You thought at one time that Trump really believed in America, believed in people, or something. I think he believes honestly in nothing.
But with all that said, you did have a handful of people on the right.
Okay. The realization that Trump is just a wrong man, supposed to be popular, wants to have friends.
Right, actually taking Trump's side. Though I'll say in a few different ways, right? First, you had the likes of Jack Sobia, right? He's one of the people whose post claiming that nobody on the right was celebrating Reiner's murder, aged cheese, and he desperately tried to save face with follow-up posts writing. Libs, they're trying to community note this with Trump's post. Where is the celebration in Trump's post? He isn't celebrating, he is warning. Then on a level of directness even higher than that, you had Trump advisor Alex Brusewitz writing, I'm not going to participate in the fake outrage of President Trump for his response to Rob Reiner. Rob Reiner called for Trump to be arrested and charged with treason, crime punishable by death. He was quite nasty toward the president. Regardless, R.I.P. Then finally, the most direct and unashamed of them all is the ghoul that is Laura Loomer, who wrote Psychosis, the real thing. Rob Reiner had a level of
I don't
TDS
wanna
that
hear
likely
that.
exuded a level of craziness around those he spent time with. Many
Oh,
crazy kids have
a fucking
psychiatric
psycho.
themselves. You'll notice a lot of celebrities of kids with addiction, trans kids, gay kids, spoiled kids, kids who commit crimes, and kids who are total deadbeat losers because many were raised to have no accountability by parents who subscribe to hardcore liberalism. Trump is right. Reiner himself sounded insane when he would speak. Imagine how crazy his own kid was on drugs. But then, last point I want to touch on with this news is something that's arguably in the same ballpark as Trump's post, but it's gotten far less attention. That is the call for a mass expulsion of Muslims from the United States. Because after the
By who?
Semitic terror attack in Australia, you have two Republican congressmen not even bothering to qualifying their target as radical Muslims. They're just attacking Islam as a whole. Right? So you have Tommy
Right, I
Tuberville
did say,
writing,
wait a
Islam is
day,
not a
wait a
religion, it's a
bit.
cult. Islamists aren't here to assimilate. They're
Islam
here to
is
conquer.
awful.
Stop worrying about offending the pearl clutchers. We've got to send them home now or we'll become the United Caliphate of America. As well as Randy Fine saying this has to stop. Diversity is not our strength. Diversity has become suicidal. Saying it is time for a Muslim travel ban, radical deportations of all mainstream. The least we can do is kick them the hell out of America. Then adding Islamophobia isn't real.
Stop using my fucking tragedy as your fucking jerk off material.
Fear of Islam is rational. When you know it, just like the Trump post, Mike
Fear of Islam is rational. Stop conflating Islam and immigrants.
Johnson office refused to comment on
Citizens.
Tuberville and Fine's comments when asked about them by the Washington Post. But also, as someone pointed out, this kind of unabashed Islamophobia, it's not new. It's been festering for a long
Islamophobia is not 100% valid. Immigrantophobia is not. It's not my fault. It's not Australia's fault that when. Oh, shit. It's not my fault that when they come to my country, there's a 99% chance they assimilate. When they go to your country, there's a 10% chance. 0.
long time. Many saw it, of course, with Donald Trump.
So we're different. You can't compare us to USA.
As far back as 2018.
Donald J. Trump is calling for a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States until our country's representatives can figure
Muslims, Islam, or Arabics?
out what the hell is going on.
And now, more recently, he's called Somali immigrants garbage, advocated deporting all of them, and said that Ilhan Omar should be stripped of her citizenship and kicked out. Right, and also last month you had Representative Brandon Gill saying much of the same as Tuberville and Bondi did. Now with him right,
I mean, extremists, Islam extremists, because a Muslim is someone who follows Islam. I want to make the distinction.
We imported Islamic terrorism in just the last few decades through our suicidal immigration. It was a policy choice. The reality is that not all cultures are morally equal. Islam is incompatible with our culture and our governing. Radical Islamists.
True.
Fundamental.
Can we please just make a distinction?
Destroy our way of life. Why would we allow them to immigrate? Islamic ideology is no place West, and it's time our immigration system recognizes that. But then the House Freedom Caucus commenting on that post, true. But then also, even supposedly more moderate conservatives like Ben Shapiro seemed to suggest yesterday that Muslim immigration as a whole is dangerous.
There are good people inside every religion. The question, of course, is whether when you import an enormous number of people of any particular religion, that changes the culture of the country, or whether it creates enclaves.
My 2 white friends don't believe
that are dangerous to the rest of the country.
And of course, all of this does.
Indian restaurants might tone down their spice levels a little bit, even though we're going to get the exact same thing. So let's find out.
Let's find out.
Mine's going first. Go.
Can I do chicken biryani? Can you make it like the spiciest?
The first order is done.
Time for you guys.
You give me the same level of spice as mine.
We just get chicken biryani, please.
Don't hold back on the spice. We like spice.
Show them what we found.
Ours, medium. Mahis. What's that? Indian hot?
You were right. This is Mahis.
Oh! Oh gosh. Maybe they shouldn't have given it to you for a reason.
This stuff's no joke. What are you guys doing?
That's
My 2 white friends don't believe.
That is the content idea of fucking. Yeah, that's so funny.
Australia.
Despite the fact that Muslim
Minus
groups,
cock tips.
governments, they
Let's
widely
hear it.
condemn the violence in Australia and
news.
elsewhere. And of course, I mean, the guy who tackled one of the shooters was himself a Muslim. You know, for now, we're going to have to wait to see how this play out. And
Did you hear the fucking false flags, literally, of saying he's Indian?
Of course, in the meantime, I'd love to know your reaction to everything that's going on. And then we're going to dive into even more in just a minute. But first, let me say, holiday spending season, it always tricks me. I start with, grab a few gifts. And suddenly, my cart looks like I'm funding Santa's entire operation. And it's why today's sponsor, Rocket Money, is essential this time. Because Rocket Money is important. Well, it's not clear yet whether this latest one's going to spark any legal action. It's definitely controversial. So specifically, this designates illicit fentanyl and its core precursor chemicals as weapons of mass destruction. It claims that the potential for fentanyl to be weaponized.
Based, but you're only doing it to justify fucking with Venezuela.
Concentrated large-scale terror.
If you just fucking if this happened out of the blue, I'll think it's amazing.
Attacks by organized adversaries is a serious threat United States, with it then directing the heads of relevant executive departments and agencies to take additional steps to combat the threat. Right, and that includes by telling the defense and attorney general to determine whether the threats posed by illicit fentanyl is enough to justify providing military resources to the Justice Department. So this very much looks like Trump administration's latest effort to provide legal cover for their lethal strikes on boats that it said without providing evidence or carrying drugs into the U.S. Which also, on that note, the military carried out another 3 of those strikes just yesterday in the Pacific, killing 8 people and bringing the total death toll to at least 95. And that's also as they brought warships to the region, seized a Venezuelan oil tanker, and flying aircraft near Venezuelan airspace, which, I mention not only because it's part of Trump's pressure campaign on Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, but also because one of them may have almost caused a deadly accident. Because last Friday, you had a JetBlue pilot reporting that a U.S. Air Force passed in front of him without broadcasting its position. They had this conversation with air traffic control.
They passed directly in our flight path. We had to stop our climb. They are not paying. They don't have their transponder turned on. It's outrageous. 7112. Yes, I don't have anything on my. But there's 358 unidentified aircraft in our airspace. Are totally right. I apologize. If you can make a note of it, we almost had a mid-air collision up here.
Going back to Trump.
No, you didn't. But there's a reason that you've never had a mid-air collision. Actually, wait. No, the system I'm thinking of only works on if they're two of the same aircraft. If they're both running the same program. So planes have plane number one. Plane number one. Plane number two. Alright, there's a reason I'm going to put this up here. When they get too close, a computer system turns on. Plane number one is lower. It will give them the commands to go this way. I'll give these guys the commands to go this way. If they get too close, due to error or weather, they should already be far enough away. They should be on different levels. They're going in different direction. And it will go collision, something, warning, and then it will give them the commands to get out of the situation. The jet, a fighter plane doesn't have the system, so it can't detect them or tell them what to do. So if it was two passenger commercial aircraft, you'd never crashing. That's stupid. One, they always never put the system together because the chances of them colliding is very, very almost zero. And then they did it anyway, and now it's uber lower than zero. Uber unlikely, much close to zero. But this is a fucking military jet. It doesn't have the system.
It's not clear if and what kind of practical impact this order will actually even have. If fentanyl is,
there's like a shield around the plane that says when you enter this space, then activate the system.
Already illegal, and the idea that it's likely to be weaponized for concentrated, large-scale terror attacks, at the very least, we'll call it testing. But there is reportedly one documented instance of fentanyl being used as a bioweapon back in Moscow in 2002, where there was a hostage crisis, and during that, Russian security services releasing gas believed to contain an aerosolized fentanyl analog into a theater. And I guess it technically succeeded in killing the 40 hostage takers, but it also resulted in the deaths of as many as 132 hostages. But nothing like that it appears to have happened before or since. And while in 2019, you had the
It's not
Center for
funny,
the
but I
Study
hate
of Weapons
Russia.
of Mass Destruction at the National Defense University publishing a report acknowledging the chemical weapon potential of fentanyl, it also said it is not evident that there is any basis or need for or net benefit to officially designating fentanyl compounds as weapons of destruction. You had a professor at Carnegie Mellon University who researches drugs, crime, and terror also arguing, I personally would prefer not to call every single thing that kills a large number of people a weapon of mass destruction. By those arguments, cigarettes would be
True.
weapons of mass destruction. Cigarettes kill more
True.
Americans
Debate,
every year
bro.
than fentanyl. And so with that, we should also be clear about exactly how many Americans fentanyl kills. And the answer, it's a lot. According to the CDC, it was around 48,000 people in the US last year alone. It's obviously a lot, but also
I mean, cigarettes everyone's choosing to do, obviously. And then, no, that's not true. Okay, drug addiction. I still think of cigarettes every day. Then I do this. And this is so much than a cigarette. Oh, smooth. It doesn't taste like shit. It doesn't hurt your throat. It's customizable. You can choose to put it down. You can choose to put the settings down. You can vape less nicotine. You can put less in it.
also it was a surprising 27% drop from before, but then also
Lower strength nicotine.
so it's a far smaller number than the numbers at the White House. When Trump signed the order yesterday, he falsely claimed that 200,000 to 300,000 people die every year from that. And that is, so Trump has repeatedly claimed that every boat strike, and there have been at least 25 so far, saves 25,000 American lives. Right, which, sounds crazy, but not when you compare it to back in April, way before the boat strikes even began. Bondi made the just truly astonishing claim that the drug bust during the first 100 days of the administration had saved 258 million American lives, or roughly 3/4 of the entire US population. While I could end this on just kind of laughing about the stupidity of this administration's numbers, I do want to be very clear. All the evidence right now, it suggests that the White House has actually little interest in fighting overdose deaths. It may even actually be making matters worse. But as far as the boat strikes, most experts say that the strikes will have little to no impact on overdose deaths, largely because if you do any fucking research into this, you learn that fentanyl doesn't come out of Venezuela and the drugs that do are
Was that
largely headed to
China?
Europe. But this also is you have an expert on street drugs, Cato Institute, saying that he's worried that strikes are just going to encourage cartels to shift drug production away from cocaine and towards synthetic substances, including fentanyl, which is deadlier and easier to move, saying all we're doing is making cartels come up with more potent, powerful forms of drugs to smuggle. And then beyond that, there's the fact that Trump's pardon and
Proof.
agreed
But there's always been a push for that, and it's always going to trend that way. To decrease shipping costs of drugs.
level drug traffickers, gang leaders, and corrupt officials linked to cartels. He's reassigned law enforcement agents working on drug trafficking, including some from the DEA to help out with immigration enforcement. And he's cut staff and resources from key federal agencies specializing in drug policy, addiction treatment, research. And so then with all that, you might have an uncle going, well, if the action targeting Venezuela isn't about fighting drug trafficking, what is it actually about? Well, of course, you could mention, as we talked about before, the real aim seems to be getting rid of Maduro. But to take it even further, you have more and more people believing that maybe this is about oil. Venezuela, they have about 17% of the world's known oil reserve, nearly 4 times the amount of the U.S. And even though, Trump hasn't mentioned oil in his public comments on the campaign, reportedly he has often mentioned it in private talks this year.
Why wouldn't Maduro like Trump? Why wouldn't Trump like Maduro? Maybe,
China has
I don't know.
Reportedly negotiated with Maduro on a potential deal to push Chinese and Russian oil companies out of Venezuela to open up a bigger role for American companies. Maduro actually made an offer that Trump only rejected because advisors convinced him that Maduro just couldn't be trusted and was biding time. Also, notably, Venezuela's main opposition leader, who won the Nobel Prize in his support for Trump's violent, deadly, and likely legal boat strikes, recently said in remarks at a business conference with Trump in attendance, I'm talking about a $1.7 trillion opportunity. We will open up all upstream, midstream, downstream to all companies. So once again, it looks like a situation where you have the administration saying it's about one thing, when really it looks more about another thing. For now, we'll have to wait how this plays out. And then we're going to break down even more in a minute. But first, let me say, nothing humbles you faster than realizing one fun night out, it can delete every brain cell that you plan to use the next day. And, I got tired of negotiating with my own body, so I started using today's sponsor, Z-Biotics, the pre-alcohol probiotic that actually helps you feel better the morning after. Unlike hydration tricks, mystery powders, or trusty bro, Wiles interviews and what's coming out today. So Susie Wiles is, of course, Donald Trump's White House chief of staff. And well, she, over the course of Trump's first year back in office, gave 11 interviews with Chris Christie. He published her comments in Vanity Fair. And when I was reading some of it, I was like, these were on the record conversations, because a number of her statements, they come off like, why would you say that knowing that it was being recorded? So with Donald Trump, she says he has an alcoholic's personality, saying Trump has a view that there's nothing he can do, nothing, zero, nothing. And saying because she had experience with her father, who was an alcoholic and an absentee parent, he knows how to handle him. Saying she's a little bit of an expert in big personalities. She then goes on to say Vice President J.D. Vance has been a conspiracy theorist Congress for a decade. Instead of Vance coming over to Trump's side, it was kind of a political decision, whereas Marco Rubio, he kind of had to work his way through things. Elon Musk, she said he's an odd duck, as I think geniuses are. She also called him an avowed ketamine user, but the Times is reporting that she later told the Times that he didn't have any actual knowledge of that beyond his own statements. Regarding Donald Trump and Bill Clinton being in the Epstein files, she said yes, they both are in them. Also reportedly saying that there's no evidence that Mr. Clinton went to the island. Reportedly, when asked if there was any incriminating information about Clinton in the Epstein files, he said the president was wrong about that. Right, and then regarding what Trump's been doing with Venezuela and boats, she said he wants to keep on blowing boats up until Maduro cries uncle. People way smarter than me on that say that he will. With that appearing to make it clear that regime change, that's the real goal there. Also regarding Pam Bondi, she said Pam essentially dropped the ball regarding the Epstein files.
Regime changing Venezuela? Why? Just leave them alone to trade with them. Maybe that's the problem. They're not trading. They'll have to sell. Probably not doing very well socioeconomically and economically.
Whiff and appreciating that that was the very targeted group that cared about this. First, she gave them binders full of nothingness, and then she said the witness list or the client list was on her desk. There is no client list, and sure as hell wasn't on her desk. Right, and all of this, it's kind of just the highlights. I recommend checking out the full article. But we will say now that it's been released, one of the people not a fan of this article is Susie Wiles herself. With Wiles tweeting this morning, the article published early this morning is a disingenuously framed hit piece on me and the finest president, White House staff, and cabinet in history. Significant context was discarded, and much of what I and others said about the team and the president was left out of the story. I assume after reading it, people are so concerned that
is 40% of GDP growth, 75% of S&P.
Australia's social media.
Okay. Fuck, we'll watch it.
A ban for under 16s has gone into effect.
He has to like it though.
On Wednesday, December 10th, Australia became the first country and entire continent to stop users under the age of 16 from accessing social media. The list of social medias that are blocked or not permitted includes Facebook, Instagram, Kik, Reddit, Snapchat, Threads, TikTok, Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. It is worth noting that some platforms, notably Reddit, YouTube, and Twitch was on the list of ones that are blocked. I think it was Discord. I think it's supposed to say Discord here. And Discord can still be accessed.
Yeah.
But
well, this thing
users
should be banned.
visiting the site will not be able to sign in or create an account. The bill is framed as...
The female audience in Flipping Chat says Tumblr is still allowed, which is actually surprising to me.
What?
That seems strange. Is there like a user limit thing and they just don't have enough people?
For a user limit?
Like a lot of these laws really only will apply to services that have enough people going to it.
No, the Tumblr is big enough that I would imagine it would
Is
matter.
it still?
And it's clearly not a user question because Reddit's allowed. Like Reddit's got plenty of users. Hydrox says, what about Patreon?
Oh, there's a lot more. Oh, wow. There was a strong resurgence among Gen Z. I didn't know that happened.
Yeah, no, Tumblr's been more of a thing again, which is pretty wild.
Very interesting.
Yeah. The life cycle of trends is so fast that they might as well just never be untrendy at this point. Like I'm sort of blown away. Like when is Slashdot going to make a triumphant return along with Dig? Wait, didn't Dig?
Dig is working on it.
Aren't they working on a relaunch?
I still haven't actually. I got an invite. I still haven't actually accepted it.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Anyway, the bill is framed as protecting children, and Australia's e-safety commissioner, Julie Inman-Grant, has stated that if any teenagers have not been booted off yet, they will be in the coming weeks or months.
Good.
Okay.
This is because some of these companies...
Why would he not like this? Is he? Isn't he a bit of a lefty? He's not SJW, I guess.
Companies were a bit slower to communicate to their user base about the upcoming change and might not have had the systems fully deployed. Communications Minister Annika Wells boasts proudly this law, stating, "Not that long ago, auto manufacturers told us that making compulsory seatbelts would break their business model. It couldn't be done. Now, families choose cars based on who offers the safest features. Big tech could compete, like airlines, like auto manufacturers, have the best safety record to offer their users, and that future is a little closer today because of this world-leading law." Dan, what was that noise you were making earlier? Yeah, that's the one. Julie Inman-Grant has also stated that more sites could be added to this ban in the future, as several youth under 16 have already migrated towards different social media platforms. Wow, it's almost like the kids who have all the time in the world to go and find another platform are always going to...
Yes, let's do nothing.
be a step ahead of the boomers.
Let's do nothing.
Who are sitting there dragging their
having
stick in the mud sticks.
Work-life balance.
They're what?
Soy! My children have infinite access to the internet.
What are they?
Work governance balance.
They're busting 90s trying to...
I've heard.
Soy, I grew up watching gore and rape videos, and all my friends are able to watch gore. All my children are able to watch gore and rape videos. They should have access to every adult in the world. There's nothing wrong with that. Pedo tips, bro.
Based on some...
doesn't even Doesn't even. It's a rainbow in front of him. And he's like, so there's actually, guys, there's no pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. So the rainbow's useless. Oh, the rainbow's pretty as well. It's because.
But the kids. Some observations that I've had that work governance balance is like you maybe do it like, I don't know, 4 or 5 days a year or something. Interesting.
Work of what now?
Don't worry.
Some youth are challenging the ban, saying parental supervision of online activity is today the paramount parental responsibility. We do not want to outsource that responsibility to government and unelected bureaucrats. This ban is a direct assault on young people's right to freedom of political communication. According to YouGov and their survey.
Oh, that's why he doesn't like it. Oh, I need uneducated children to boost my political side. Good Linus Cuck Pips.
Survey 77% of Australians were in support of the ban, which is up from 61% back in August. On Twitter, several people noticed the irony of claiming this ban is protecting children when 2 social media applications were excluded from the ban, Discord and Roblox, that are both notorious.
We just get there eventually. What? Them complaining about it not being banned is closer to banning them than it is to not ban anything at all.
For being an unsafe environment for underage youth.
Yeah, really.
All right. A lot to unpack here. Number 1 is this ain't going to work. Overall,
what do you mean? You're telling me a 6-year-old can operate this age verification?
I'm not entirely unsupportive.
6-year-old that has access to webcams on their fucking iPad and phone?
Of limiting youth access to social media. I think it's been pretty well studied and well demonstrated to be.
So you don't even have compulsory voting. So it's for the fresh minds of teenagers that get to 18 without being on social media. Versus the polluted mind, the polluted brainwash minds of your teenagers. 18. I don't know. I think it's pretty obvious. They're gonna vote. Our children are gonna vote more fairly on the base of their political party's merits, and yours is gonna follow trends.
Harmful.
By the way,
developing brains.
There was a few discussions that popped up on the Reddit of like, oh my god, what does this mean for floatplane? Minimum age in Australia to get a credit card is 18.
So nothing.
Sounds good.
Yep, we'll be fine.
We're chilling. We will do a total of nothing.
But what's very clear is that this just isn't going to work.
No, yeah, not at all. Not even a little bit. Who cares? I think this will barely phase anyone under 16 in Australia at all. They'll just do something slightly different, or they'll VPN to it if they really care.
Well, it's kind of like how when you when you travel to different places, there's a different suite of apps that people tend to use. Like you go to Taiwan, everyone uses Line for messaging.
Yep.
You know, or you go to America and everyone uses iMessage because installing an app is too complicated. You know, or
We're doing
whatever.
great.
Like there's
Ha
what is
ha
it with
ha.
you and like the sick burns on America lately? I don't get it.
They swung first. I don't know. It is what it is.
Wow.
And you know, at the very most basic level, it's not like they aren't still going to have text messaging and group chats, which functionally speaking is, sure, without the algorithmic portion, a lot of what anybody is doing on social media anyway. They're sharing pictures, they're sharing memes, they're sending messages to each other, they're bullying each other, you know, it's stuff. So our discussion questions are, would you help your kids around this law if it was implemented today in Canada? No, I wouldn't, actually. In fact, my kids are already banned from, let me see actually, what are all these platforms?
Do you think he recommends his parenting style to other people? Probably.
Facebook, yes. Instagram, banned. Kick, banned. Reddit, banned. Snapchat, banned. Threads, banned. TikTok, banned. Twitch, banned. Twitter, banned. YouTube, they are allowed to use.
Has there been any...
Oh, wait, no, YouTube. Sorry, YouTube wasn't a banned one, I think. Was YouTube banned? I don't think so. I think our list is a little bit
I think our
broken here.
list is a little bit messed up. Don't worry about our list too much. We've already had a bunch of people in chat talk about how things are different to the list.
Yeah,
so
sorry, guys. No, because Reddit's in both of them. YouTube's in both of them.
Just ignore
Dang
the
it,
list.
guys. Anyway.
Completely. Like, does that seem to bother them? Not the Discord thing, but like the banning of the other platforms. They feel like they are not included socially in school. Or
They're still pretty young.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably going to ratchet up.
Not.
His public name now is Randy.
Randy. Okay.
Yeah.
Randy's at the age where that kind of stuff is becoming a thing for sure.
Oh, definitely. And like
in school, or
they're
anything
still
like that.
pretty young.
Yeah. Substantial. Like, does that seem to bother them? Not the Discord thing, but like the banning of the other platforms. They feel like they are not included socially in school. Or
They're
anything
still
like that.
pretty young.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably going to
Little
ratchet up.
man's not.
His public name now is Randy.
Randy. Okay.
Yep.
Randy's at the age where that kind of stuff is becoming a thing for sure.
Oh, definitely. You know, like I'm not here to parent other people's kids.
That is sad.
Why not?
Yeah, I'm not here to parent other people's kids, so I'm not going to get involved in that, right? But it's definitely something that, you know, as parents of Randy, we notice.
Someone in chat was like, "Would you let them sign up for World of Warcraft?" And Dan just wanted EVE Online. It's like,
You gotta start them young.
That'll teach you some things.
I don't mind them getting. And we try to Elijah. Oh, Elijah's theory is that Roblox and Discord are exempt because it's algorithm based. They don't really have like an algorithm compared to like Facebook, Insta, Twitter. That's an interesting theory. Okay.
Okay.
He might be right. He might be wrong.
No, I am not trying to counter his statement. To be clear, I'm wondering, like, is that a
Fucking return
now?
Let's hear about this shit.
Oops. Believe it or not, this
Or
is
do
a
I have to start saving on food?
full week's worth of GLP-1 eating for under $80. Stick to these staples and your grocery bill will drop every single week. Save a few $1,000s per year, and now you can justify investing into your health with these GLP-1 medications, and I'll be sure to show you how to do it the right way. I'm Dr. Jones, DC, and I coach thousands of patients
Ooh, Doctor, hell yeah.
on GLP-1 meds every single day. Lost 100 pounds myself, and I struggled for years to figure out how to keep it off, and now I work with my medical practitioners helping people like you do the same. Look, these medications cost a fortune, but you know what drives me crazy? People spending another fortune on the wrong groceries. They overcomplicate it. After surveying over 500 of our most successful patients who were also on a budget, what we found was they had a systematic approach towards grocery shopping. It was structured, they had a plan, and it included a lot of the staples that I'm about to show you here today. They had more.
Okay, I guess. Is it going to be close to keto? Or it's just going to be a bunch of healthy shit? My philosophy is that I get to eat smaller, nicer stuff
more energy,
instead of saving money.
zero cravings, their grocery bills cut in half. Oh,
Oof, I would like more energy.
I'm going to show you my secret sardine recipe. Yep, you heard that right. That makes it actually taste good. Quick note, you'll notice that these 20 foods are specifically low carb, not ultra, not keto, just on the lower side. Why? Your first
Okay.
3 to 6 months on your GLP-1 medications, we're focusing on healing your insulin resistance. Once we can fix that, you can the carbohydrates. Trying to lose weight while eating lots of carbohydrates, even if you're in a calorie deficit, for the majority of you, it's making things way more challenging than it needs to be. Listen to your body, fix your insulin resistance by lowering your insulin levels, and the easiest way to do that is eat less carbohydrates. But trying to lose weight while you're eating bread and other carbohydrates when your insulin is broken, that's like driving with the parking brake on. It just doesn't make sense. Plus, at the end of this 3 to 6 month reset, I'll show you exactly what carbohydrates you can add back into the program once your system has healed. So let's dive in. All right, let's talk protein. But not just any protein, the ones that keep you full so that you don't blow money on snacks and takeout. Because here's what nobody tells you. Every gram of protein that you eat is like $1 that you don't end up having to spend on other junk and processed food. Let's start with one of my favorite items, full-fat Greek yogurt. Not the low-fat garbage that has 25 grams of sugar. Look, I don't eat this every single day, but when I want dessert, especially after a lot of fatty red meat, that won't wreck my blood sugar, I throw in some Greek yogurt, some monk fruit, some berries, whether fresh or frozen. Tastes like cheesecake for only $2. This is such a staple, and I highly recommend it. Our patients who are eating this for breakfast.
So the low fat then has more sugar to make up for it. Let's think about that.
Breakfast instead of grabbing Starbucks, they're saving like $150 a month. Fun fact, Greek yogurt has double the protein of regular yogurt because they actually strain out the whey. That's about $4.49 for a week's worth. Number 2, eggs. These are the gold standard. You know what's crazy? Scientists literally measure all other proteins against eggs. They are 100% bioavailable. That means your body uses every last bit of protein. Lisa, one of my patients, was in a complete zombie mode, eating 800 calories a day. We got her eating eggs and Greek yogurt every morning. 2 weeks later, energy back, scale moving again. She stopped buying $6 breakfast sandwiches and she started saving $150 a month and actually had her energy back. A dozen of these bad boys cost only $3.99. That's less than one fancy coffee. Okay, number 3, canned sardines. Before you get a little poo-poo on me here, hear me out. When I'm rushing between patients on a busy day and I haven't eaten sardines, I go to 20 grams of protein loaded with omega-3s. And get this, sardines actually have more calcium than milk because you literally eat the bones. You don't even notice it. I'm about to share my secret sardine recipe.
A fucking great point. Holy shit. I do like me some sardines, but I really get over it. And now I've bought Spam, chicken, and pork, sausage, which I shall go and consume right now.
recipe that I've never told anybody. Apple cider vinegar, sea salt, and hot sauce. Mix it all together. I know it sounds a little weird. I fiance thinks I'm insane, but it's so good. Try it once and you'll be hooked. $2.99 for a meal. That takes 30 seconds. You can't beat that. Quick question. What's your biggest challenge with protein on GLP-1s? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one. And honestly, you guys give me the best video ideas.
What
Number 4, rotisserie
just
chicken.
happened?
This is controversial, but I need you to hear me out. 1 bird, 5 meals, 0 prep time. Fun fact, grocery stores actually lose money on every single rotisserie chicken that they put out. They price them so low to literally get you in the door. Now look, I know influencers are going to tell you that these are terrible because they sit in plastic all day. But hey, while they might have a point, I'm not saying they're 100% perfect. That's not what I'm trying to do. But what I am going to do is not fearmonger you out of an affordable protein option that will help you lose weight and save money. You can only fight so many battles at once. And currently, if you're overweight, if you're on a path towards diabetes, changing your diet and doing it within a budget that you can actually afford is more important than anything else. Perfect is the enemy of good. Our patient Mike, he was all about 0 cooking skills and he saved $900 a month eating this right here instead of freaking DoorDash. Is it organic? Is it free range? Yes, maybe not. But rotisserie chicken, better than fast food? Absolutely. Work within your budget, not against it. Number 5, full fat cottage cheese.
I like that. I like that a lot.
24 grams of protein per cup. That's wild.
Why are we having so much protein? Because we're trying to, okay, yeah, because we're trying to replace carbs. Okay.
80% casein protein, which by the way, casein protein takes about 7 hours to digest. Bodybuilders literally eat this before they go to bed because it feeds their muscles while they sleep. Sarah was a night shift nurse and she swears by this. She says it keeps her full throughout her entire shift. No more vending machine runs at 3 in the morning. The full fat version, way more satisfying than low fat. $3.49 saves her from $20 in late night snacks alone. One of my favorites and such a staple around the house, ground beef. I don't care whether it's organic or not. And please, stop buying the 90-10 thinking that lean is better. You want to go for 80-20. You need the fat. That doesn't make you fat. Insulin, when combined with the caloric surplus, is really what's going to make you fat. The 80-20 tastes better, costs less, and keeps you satisfied so that you eat less. Look, I get it. We've been told fat is bad for over 40 years. My patients who are eating lots of fat, especially in the early stages of their program, they're the ones with energy, less cravings, and grocery bills that actually make sense. 2 pounds for under $10 feeds a family of 4. That's $2.50 per person for dinner. You're not going to beat that for the base protein in your
I eat a lot of most of this stuff.
dinners. Now that we've loaded up on protein,
Changing up. Yep. More meats. Well, red meat something. Fucking tuna every day, man. It's too much.
that's half the battle. But here's what'll shock you. Even with perfect protein, some of our patients are still failing. Turns out their gut was sabotaging everything. These next
Okay,
three
this
items,
is what I want. I think I bleached my gut with this.
turns out one of them is sitting in the wrong aisle at the store. My favorite sweetener of all, monk fruit and or allulose. 2 different components, but you can find them, and this is a very, very affordable option combined. Now, this may seem
Never
weird
heard
in the
of
house
this in my
section.
life.
Stay with me. Those pink and yellow packets that you see all the time, all over any fast food restaurants, they're destroying your gut bacteria. Artificial sweeteners reduce good gut microbiome by up to 50%, studies show. But monk fruit and allulose, they actually feed beneficial bacteria in the gut. Plus, and this is for
Maybe I don't care about beneficial
for hours.
bacteria.
Now, Buddhist monks figured this out over 1,500 years ago, and item number 11 is going to change how you see pasta forever. Number 10, frozen mixed vegetables. So we got 2 different kinds here. We got a bit of a melody here, and we got one of my favorites, cauliflower rice. I know it's not sexy, but here's what's crazy. Frozen veggies are often more nutritious than fresh. They're frozen at peak ripeness, and when fresh broccoli has been traveling for 2 weeks, you lose some of that potency. Jennifer, one of our busy patients, who's a mom of 3, she lives on these things. Doesn't waste time. It's always ready. $1.99 a bag. She used to throw out $20 of wilted produce every week, but now 0 waste, and that's $80 a month back in her pocket just from buying frozen. Plus, she's down 60 pounds because vegetables are actually convenient for her now. You can soak these up with butter and cook them up with various seasonings, especially with the ground beef we talked about earlier. Convenient, quick, and very nutritious. Number 11, shirataki noodles. These are really, really cool, and you probably haven't heard of them. This is going to sound insane. Shirataki noodles, 0 carbs, 0 calories. Buddhist monks have been eating these for over 1,500 years. Made from a Japanese root that's 97% water. Look at these massive bowls of pasta. This is the same amount of calories, but this is traditional pasta, and this is shirataki noodles. Think about how much more food and volume you're going to be able to put down for that ratio of calories. You can't beat that. No way you're going to be able to eat a bowl like this and tell me that you're satisfied when you're looking for a hungry dinner. But this, you're not going to be able to finish this. And if you do, let me know in the comments because that'd be pretty impressive. Let me show you what I mean here. In this graph, you can see that your blood sugar on regular pasta, but this is your blood sugar on shirataki. You see that spike? That's what sends you to the pantry at 9 p.m. looking for cookies. When your blood sugar stays stable, you're not buying impulsive snacks. That's where the real savings can start to compound. This is why I recommend going low carb for the first 3 to 6 months on your GLP-1 journey. Not forever, because that's just not sustainable. We all got to have some fun in our life, right? But long enough for you to fix your insulin resistance. Look at that graph again. Once your body can actually handle carbohydrates without spiking, you can bring them back in your life. But if you try to eat pasta and bread while your insulin is still broken, you're fighting your medication instead of working with it. That's expensive and frustrating. By the way, I'll have some bonus items at the end of this video where I get into some of my favorite carbohydrates that we help patients slowly incorporate back into their diet without $6 tiny containers of fresh blueberry. Olive oil. Olive oil is not just for cooking. This is medicine. Extra virgin has compounds that trigger the same satisfaction receptor.
I get told not to use olive oil in cooking.
as ibuprofen. Anti-inflammatory, but
Piss me
zero
off.
impact
These
on
dumb
insulin.
fucks
And if you're
say
too
that.
low on calories, which happens all the time with patients on GLP-1 meds, literally just add this to any food that you possibly can. A tablespoon goes a long way. One bottle will last a month or two, $2 a week compared to those $8 healthy salad dressings that are full of sugar. Whip this up with some apple cider vinegar or any one of your favorite vinegars and throw in a bunch of seasonings and just soak up your vegetables with all that healthy, delicious fat. That will keep you satisfied, and you got to replace those carbohydrate calories with some fat. You can't do it with only protein. Number 15, avocados. Avocados have more potassium than bananas. They're crucial because GLP-1s
Avocados are bad for the environment. Let's hear them out.
deplete your electrolytes. Potassium is one of the main players there. Yeah, they're more pricey than they used to be, but watch this math.
Fat as
3
fuck.
avocados for $2.97. Each one replaces mayo, butter, cream cheese. Those $4 guac cups, you'll be saving money in no time. One of our patients, Robert, 55 business owner, he thought fats would make him fatter, but he started eating more avocados and olive oil on the daily. His afternoon cravings, gone. Stop hitting the vending machine, stopped ordering 3 p.m. coffee and muffins, saves about $15 a day. That's $450 a month just from adding healthy fats. Okay, mixed nuts.
These savings
Buy
are a
these
bit
in bulk,
silly.
You'll save a ton of money. A little quarter cup goes a long way. And it's so easy because you can store this anywhere. Save 50% versus buying smaller package. Fun fact, walnuts are the only nut that have significant amount of omega-3s in them. They're literally brain-shaped for a reason. Coincidence? Maybe, maybe not, but I'm not taking any risk. Number 17, salsa. Salsa of any kind. Mild, medium, hot, whatever it is. This will actually
Why?
replace, in many
Wait,
cases,
why?
dressings, marinades, cooking sauces for 10 calories. No, you don't need that fancy
What's the strat?
$8 organic
Just increase ability of less nice foods.
salsa or the $6 special hot salsas. This $2.99 jar transforms everything. Eggs immediately become Mexican breakfast. Chicken becomes fajitas. Even cauliflower rice can now taste amazing. One
Okay.
jar does the job
Changing what the meal is hitting.
of 5 expensive condiments. That's $20 saved right there. 18 canned beans. Black, pinto, whatever's on sale, 99 cents for protein and fiber. But let me share something interesting because you probably heard some mixed things about beans. Maria, one of our marketing execs, she had Hashimoto's, an autoimmune condition that actually affects the thyroid. So she's very sensitive to some foods. Regular canned beans actually caused massive inflammation, which made her crave carbs like crazy. Turns out regular canning doesn't remove these compounds called lectins, but pressure cooking does. She started using her Instant Pot, dried beans, water, 30 minutes, inflammation gone, cravings stopped. She saved $300 a month from impulse shopping on various other fast foods. If beans make you bloated and you feel like you actually react to them, which is not that often, but some people it does, try
beans.
Taco seasoning. Taco seasoning, the meal saver, works on everything.
I
Ground beef,
do
regular beef,
agree
chicken,
100%
eggs,
on
vegetables.
this.
One packet can
Boom. Savory, tomato, mince, garlicky, shit ton of herbs. Boom. Turns into Mexican.
turn a boring dinner night into a taco bowl night where you feel like you're eating that unhealthy Mexican food, but it's actually healthy. Now, I'm not advocating for a certain brand because there's so many. Just look at the ingredients and make sure you get one without maltodextrin. Or even better, make your own. Because really all it takes is chili punch. But yes, that's what happens.
Artificial intelligence software that analyzes faces of previous trespassers, and they get a 100% match on this guy who, whenever they trespassed them before, presented an ID that had a different name. It looked like the same, that guy. Not Mike. I don't know nothing about Mike. So either he is who he says he is, and he's not have ever actually trespassed, which I doubt because their software is pretty cool, and the fact that he's actually super suspicious. I'll be 100% honest. Could legitimately be you have a doppelganger running around.
Well, unless I've gone crazy, I'm pretty sure it's not me.
Nightmare becomes reality at a Reno, Nevada casino when AI facial recognition technology misidentifies someone, leading to a wrongful arrest and lands an innocent man
Oh shit,
behind bars.
What the is the ID then? Why do I even carry that mother?
The following is based on official police records, and the footage has never been seen before until now. Please note that
This
all
is
persons charged with
fucking
a crime are
grim.
presumed innocent unless and until proven guilty in a court of law. On September 17, 2023, the Peppermill Casino calls the Reno Police Department to report that a trespasser has unlawfully returned to the casino. They report that they have the man in custody, but he's claiming to go by an entirely different name than the man they previously trespassed. Officer Richard Jagger arrives at the casino at
I want to see the ID part.
8 a.m.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Oh, thank God you're...
The man declaring his relief at the sight of the officer is 40-year-old Jason Killinger, who is accused of trespassing at the Peppermill Casino.
So what's going on?
So we got this
These coppers are gonna be so fucking useless.
alert, right trespasser.
Okay.
And make contact. So,
What does my name
they're trying to
So what's the issue, you guys? Did he have a different driver's license or a secondary one, or does he have more property than just this one?
just that those are the
1 second, pal.
but no other forms of identification.
You guys ran this information through our dispatch?
Through your guys' dispatch? No. Yeah, through ours, comes back as that's being says he is on his ID, but that's what we went off right there.
Yeah, and this is one of those things. You guys have this fancy software that does all this stuff, so it's like.
Officer, what's your name?
1 second, man.
A few months earlier, a man named Michael had been trespassed from the casino for sleeping on the premises.
All right, man. So this is who you are?
Yes. What your Mr. Jagger is your first name or last name?
Last name.
All right, Mr. Jagger. Yes, that is who I am. I drive the semis for UPS. I am not Mike. I don't know nothing about Mike. I'm a craps player here. Look, right there's my socks for UPS. Can you please? You got a gun here. Will you take me out of these cuffs? My shoulders are killing me.
You're gonna sit there for a minute, man. So when he gave you this information, did you guys verify it against an ID, or how does that work?
So in that report there's an ID on there as well.
Okay.
Jason, a long combination vehicle driver, had been playing craps until about 3 a.m. when he decided to leave the Peppermill and go to the Atlantis casino. On his way out, he stopped at a blackjack machine and started playing. There, he
What
was
a
approached
fucking
by a security
degenerate.
guard
What
who
a
addressed him
base,
as Mike.
fucking base degenerate.
When Jason clarified that he was not Mike and presented the guard with his driver's license, the guard apologized and walked away. However, as Jason attempted to leave, he was surrounded by security guards and handcuffed. He was told that he was under arrest for
Not good.
trespassing.
Not good.
My shoulder's killing me. So that's the ID that he presented. I'll be.
Over the news.
Yeah. Huh. Weird. Very weird. Can we snap a picture of that and run both names?
The casino's AI facial recognition software positively identified Jason as Michael, the man they had trespassed.
Can you step out this way, get better reception?
Yeah. The only thing that was weird is to go out, lift him up and see how tall he is.
Yeah.
It's on this. That says he's 5'9", and that says 6'1".
Yeah.
This isn't the only difference between Michael and Jason's IDs. Jason is listed as 7 years
Bro,
older
they
than Michael and
completely
says that he
different.
weighs 50 pounds more. As well, the signatures are different. In his report, Officer Jagger wrote, quote, "The associated demographics on each driver's license were fairly similar, with the only major distinction being
No.
hazel and blue eyes, which are by their very nature similar icons and are dependent upon lighting."
The pictures are very, I mean, the nose.
Right, and then we have our new system, our new facial recognition system, and that's what it's telling us. It's telling us that it's looking at it, and it's doing that. And then there was another one that came up when he was at the RTRK, which is one of our better cameras.
Yeah.
This is right before we arrested him. We looked at it and said, that's him. And it came up
100%. Okay.
100% match.
Yeah. So the software's saying it, it's legit.
Right. And it's
So he.
No.
So either he
Fucking
presented
cunt.
a fake identification the first time, or he's presented it now. Even if he had a twin, it wouldn't be 100% on the facial, right?
I wouldn't think so, but I don't know, because they say twins share DNA.
Security guard's about to say something retarded.
Right.
But
I guess it depends upon if they're identical.
I've seen identical twins where it's like moms can tell them apart.
Oh, the cop was gonna say something retarded.
The other thing that kind of made us feel suspicious, or us managers, was right after our officers made contact and they saw the ID that he's presented today, and they're like, okay, it's not the same guy. He immediately gets up and starts cashing out, like running through the door. I'm like, okay, if it really wasn't him, why is he running through the door?
Why is he getting ready to leave?
Jason would later explain that earlier that night he played at the Legends Bay Casino, the Nugget Casino, and the El Dorado Casino before arriving at the Peppermill around 11:30 p.m. He claimed that each time he was up $200, he would move on to a new casino, and just before his arrest, he had made $200. He also estimated that prior to the 16th, he had gambled hundreds of times at the Peppermill without incident. After speaking with the Peppermill employee, Officer Jagger calls to check the police records.
I have a precarious situation. I'm trying to positively identify somebody who may or may have or may be using a fake ID. So I've got two names, two Nevada driver's license numbers and all that. If there's a chance I could have you run both and see if any of them come back and maybe send me pictures and an email of what their IDs come back as? Yeah. Huh. That is super weird. Do you see resemblance in those? Yeah. Yeah, that is. That's super weird. So I have a feeling these are both the same guy, but he has different IDs. That's crazy. Because their software here, they have this facial recognition software here at the Peppermill, and he came back as 100%
You
match.
gotta be able to
character.
fucking identify that. You gotta have a special unit to do that.
Those are definitely
Like,
weird.
do the
So I
comparing.
have a feeling he's somehow making some fake identification
Or why the fuck do you have identification in the first place?
or something. But I mean, if you're pulling them up, then they're legitimate.
Yeah, they're both.
Well, when you make a identification, it compares it to all the rest of them, and it makes sure that if there's some matches or similarities, that they mark it for special consideration.
With this discovery that both Michael and Jason's IDs are legitimate, Officer Jagger calls his supervisor, once again explaining that the Peppermill's AI technology came back with a 100% match, that Jason and Michael are the same person.
Then this guy that they have now detained presents a different ID with a different name, Jason Killinger, and that has a matching photo for him now. I mean, the photos are different photos, but they look like the same. That guy. The only difference is one has a chin
Fucking
goatee.
dog.
But definitely super weird. So all these driver's licenses are both valid. So either he is who he says he is, and he's not actually ever actually trespassed, which I doubt because their software is pretty cool, and the fact that he's acting super suspicious. Two, I
This
just have a
cop
feeling
is gonna
somehow
fuck
maybe
you.
he's got a hookup with the DMV where he's got two different driver's licenses that
cop
are registered
so
with the Department of
stupid.
Motor Vehicles with different names and dates of birth.
At least he's gonna figure out how fucking stupid he is.
So I guess I'll arrest him on that and then just list him as a John Doe and then have him booked in for a wins check. Alrighty, well that solves that. So you guys got a complaint?
Yeah, well, yeah,
And then
statement and all that good stuff.
statement already done. Easy peasy. So right now, because I can't identify you, it's weird. Because essentially it looks like you have two names. I don't know, man. So I can't identify you. Fortunately, that means that they can't cite you.
Officer Jagger collects Jason's things, which includes his driver's license, a Peppermill player's card in the name Jason Killinger, and a debit card from his credit union in the name of Jason Killinger.
Can't be
Oh
cited.
my god.
Or arrested. So
Card would give it away. There's no way a bank would fucker. I don't know.
I'm arrested.
Yep, I'm going to
jail.
Yep.
Are you kidding me?
I'm not a joker, man. So you'll be arrested and you'll get fingerprinted up at the jail, and then they'll be able to discern your identity and what the mix up is with this stuff. I'll be 100% honest. It could legitimately be you have a doppelganger running around, but they are
A doppelganger with different eyes, different weight, different height, different name.
strikingly similar and enough. Their fancy AI technology that reads faces. No, it says it's a 100% match. But at this point, our hands are tied because
No, it doesn't say 100%.
you know a reasonable and prudent person.
0.2 drop rate in any game. I'll take that. I'll take that. That's pretty high.
Would, based off the software, based off the pictures, based off even your driver's license picture, make the reasonable conclusion that all three are the same person, just two different IDs with two different names.
The back of the IDs, because I have all the endorsements except for motorcycle and hazard.
Okay.
Other than that, I got all the endorsements.
But that's the thing is
Is his a TDL?
so that's the thing is it's either someone else is using your stuff or you're using somebody else's stuff. And unfortunately, you look too much like the guy in that picture, so much so that the fancy
He's covering his ass so well.
that does all the face scanning of everybody who walks in this casino makes the same determination that my feeble human brain does. So
Jason's ID is a Nevada Real ID driver's license. In order to obtain a Nevada Real ID driver's license, a person must present themselves at the DMV with proof of identity such as a birth certificate or a current U.S. passport or U.S. passport card, a social security card, and 2 documents proving Nevada residence.
All I want to do is play some goddamn dice and make some money.
Yeah.
I got a check stub from my work.
check stub.
Yeah, would that prove it to you guys?
Honestly, man,
No.
the only way is get your fingerprints out.
Later, Jason would reveal that along with a check stub in his vehicle, he also had a current vehicle registration for his car in his name, a Department of Transportation medical card, a Teamsters Local 533 union card, and a valid vehicle insurance card, all in his name. Officer Jagger's police report would later state that, quote, due to John Doe having conflicting
At least he's gonna make some money off this lawsuit.
identification, he lacked satisfactory evidence to reasonably assure me that he was who he claimed to be.
Yeah, it's one of those. Like I said, man, if it turns out that it's not you, it's one of those ones you can call the director and be like, "Hey, man, your software is made it at critical error."
This is what my tax dollars came from?
It's not built for comfort. It's not built for comfort, pal. Very sorry.
Before he leaves, another officer arrives at the casino, and Officer Jagger takes the opportunity to once again explain the situation.
It's super weird. This poor guy might be like legitimately somebody else, and someone else. I don't know.
Soon, Officer Jagger begins the drive to the Washoe County Detention Facility.
I'll be honest, I don't know what to think because usually those systems are pretty good. Like we've used those systems in the past to catch homicide suspects. Sure. So like they're fairly reliable.
Jesus Christ, the sun's right.
So if it comes back,
He's gonna have
you
to
know,
sleep
one angle
in
on your
there.
face it was 99%, the other one was 100%.
Is that right?
Yeah, so it's like it says that you're that guy.
Well, unless I've gone crazy, I'm pretty sure it's not me.
Yeah. You seem like a stand-up guy, and it's probably a really terrible case of mistaken identity.
I've never been arrested. Never, not once. What is the ID then? Why do I even carry that mother? That one young security guard, man, like a robot. That's what pisses me off, is because they don't think, you know. Like, well, this is what I was taught. Use your head. And then people aren't smart enough to think for themselves. They're just not.
What's
That's
up?
where we live in.
He's the gambling man. Why does he just start betting on this?
All goes well. You should be out of those cuffs in the next, hopefully, 8 to 10 minutes.
Okay, good. All because somebody that looks like me was sleeping in the casino. It's not me.
Despite Jason's continued protests, Officer Jagger hands him off to the jail staff. Jason's fingerprints were soon submitted for analysis.
Best of luck, man. Sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, so
That's weird.
it's super weird. So it's one of those ones like I genuinely like I kind of believe him.
Yeah.
It wasn't long before the fingerprint analysis conclusively established that Jason had been telling the truth all along, and he was in fact Jason Killinger. Later that same day, around 4 p.m., Jason was released from the jail on his own recognizance. The day after his release on September 18th, 2023, he went to renowned urgent care Vista, where he was diagnosed with a strain of both the right and left shoulder and contusions on both wrists. On July 30th, 2025, Jason filed a complaint in federal court against Reno police officer Richard Jagger. While at the jail, after his
let's get some
identity
money,
had been confirmed,
baby.
his arrest papers were changed from John Doe to Jason Killinger. Federal complaint states that this meant Jason would be prosecuted for trespassing, even though Michael had been the only one who was trespassed. According to the complaint, Jason's charge of trespassing was eventually dismissed. However, he now has a criminal record. According to the complaint, facial recognition technology has led to wrongful arrests in Louisiana, New Jersey, Maryland, and Texas. Many cities now conclude that for an arrest, there has to be some kind of secondary corroborating evidence that is unrelated before there can be sufficient justification to arrest. Jason Killinger's case remains ongoing. If you'd like to see select new videos,
Artificial intelligence software that analyzes face.
Yeah, let's hear it, you dumb bitches. Telling you my country's
We've been
amazing.
living in Australia for 3 months now. We came over from Canada on a 417 working holiday visa, and we did quite a bit of research before coming here, so we felt mostly prepared, and we didn't
Oh, did they learn the Australian language?
expect to be surprised by anything, but that's not the case. So this video is going to cover 10 things that shocked us from our time so far in Australia.
Tipping is not
Damn, fucking right.
Australia was go out to eat at a
Superior
taco
country.
down the road, and tipping is a big thing in North America. So when the bill
Yeah, you guys are retarded.
came and when I went up to pay, I didn't know if I was supposed to. I kind of just paid the bill itself, and then I was just trying to just kind of see if there was like an option popped up on the screen like ask for the tip in.
Yeah.
And nothing did. I paid cash, and then they just gave me my change back, and they just walked away, which was the perfect thing because I think if she'd given me change back and then just stood there looking at me, I probably would have given her more money, more money back.
And we Googled it at the table, and Google said not to tip, so we didn't tip, but it still felt really weird
Yeah.
walking out of the restaurant.
Yeah, I'm so used to paying like.
They don't have the
50%.
system
You
to
get
tip.
Yeah, on almost anything you've ever purchased within reason. I'm not going to tip to Subway. Maybe that's a hot take. But so now that there's no tipping here in Australia, it's kind of nice because you just know exactly what you're going to have to pay, and then pay it, you leave.
Yeah, because we're not fucking inbred.
No like judgment.
And then there's no pressure to
This is
to-
Tasmanian.
if you don't tip somebody, that you are taking away from like their livelihood and their wages, because wages are actually just pretty decent here, even in like the service industry. People are paid a fair wage, so I mean, I guess the tipping is optional, but nobody does it. People can actually make a living off of working in the service industry in the country.
What if Australians like or do they just like?
This is interesting though, because I know in
No,
Canada, at
it
least,
would be
if you're working like
insulting.
a service job, like service or something like that, you typically want to work weekends because that's when you get better tips.
Yeah.
But here, as a customer, you're typically paying a service charge, normally around like between 5 and 15%. If you're eating out at a restaurant and it's an evening or a weekend, and basically this just translates into higher wages for staff that are working hours. You did a little bit of time. It was a thing that if you were working after 6 p.m.
I think so, yeah.
And then if you worked on like Saturday or Sunday, certain times you would make what they call a penalty, make a certain amount more per hour on top of your normal.
Yeah.
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 So then basically just the customer, it's kind of like tipping, I guess, but it's just all baked in. No question about it. It's what it is.
I think we'd be.
But it's all baked in. No question about it. It's what it is.
I think we'd be at a total time of like 3 or 4 times.
Got it.
Yeah.
Which actually leads us to my next, which is wages are significantly higher. Minimum wage is high enough that people working in service industries, hospitality, basically anything that a minimum wage job, a livable wage. I think it's around.
Damn, fucking right.
It's not because I'm casual, so I get loading on.
Yeah, there's all these different rates added on like full time, or part time or casual, different rules around what you pay. But generally speaking, minimum wage is higher, heck of a lot higher than.
Yeah,
I think we struggle to
motherfucker.
find a job that was less than $1 an hour in Australia.
Yeah.
So I mean, just to be a bit, I guess, more transparent around here. When we first got here,
Yeah, what jobs are they doing? That's what I want to hear.
yeah, within like a day or two, was doing dishes at a pretty restaurant, I think. And I was making $30 an hour, and then I switched from that to a charity job. And both of these jobs were considered casual. So because of that, I was essentially making like $25, $26 an hour plus top of a vacation. So right now, my job is considered unskilled, and I make almost $34 an hour. You don't get like sick days, you don't get vacation, but also since you are casual, you just take anything off you. Jess, on the other hand,
I'm actually making more in a similar role than I was in Canada. I'd say it's about 30% higher per year, per hour, however you want to look at it, from the job I was doing in Canada to the one I'm doing here, which is admin.
Yeah.
For
Okay.
childcare service, even when you take into account
Okay.
exchange rate,
This could be
that's actually
big.
30% more. Pretty darn good. Pretty-
Jess makes more money. Yes. Grace is already
Sounds so cocked, man. Jesus.
So something that I really love here in Australia, all the prices are already back. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. Like you go to a restaurant, it says it's $30, the bill comes $30. And I mean, we've already been here almost 3 months now, and I'm still surprised because I'll go to Apple and I'll purchase a new phone, and it's exactly. I think maybe online purchases it could be because like taxes.
I think
Do you have to pay tip when you go to fucking Woolies or? It's just service industry. It's Target. You can pay tip.
So they show you. So it's not like there's no tax on anything. It's just already, they have to show you the final price on the shelf or on the website or wherever you're purchasing from. It's already that final ticket price. So then if you're buying something online or like it is on your receipt, or it'll have like the grand total and then it'll still have the what the cost portion that was taxed.
This is really nice.
Oh, nice. You
I think
just know
everyone
what
should
you're
do
going
it.
to pay.
Yeah, there's no like $9.99 and register. Like,
Yeah.
if it says it's $9.99, it is $9.99.
People actually leave work on time. So logging off at the end of the day and leaving on time is a completely normal thing here, and it took not too long. Nice, but it still probably took me about a week of work to kind of get into of actually heading out the door when my friend work. Canada, you
What are
finish
you
at 4:30,
fucking
you're expected to be at your desk work
Canada or
until 7,
Japan?
and then you're done. You get up, you get your stuff. By the time you actually get out the door, it's 10 minutes, 15. Something comes up, you eat the
What?
extra 20, 30 minutes, and that's just what it is.
Yeah,
So my first
motherfucker.
week at my job, I finish at 4:30, and I'd be walking out at like 4:35.
There's some shareholders that expect this, but
People just actually log off, leave on time.
What I thought was interesting, though, I don't know, is that there's a lot of people coming to work early because every place I've worked so far is incredibly generous with breakfast. Like there is fridges and freezers dedicated.
hang on.